Okay, so I'm going to take you through exercises and everyday movements that you're going to want to teach your clients who are going through or experiencing some discomfort or going through a pain experience. So first of all, you want to make sure that if your client is struggling at night with pain that's not going away and she hasn't seen her doctor yet, you want to make sure that she gets in to see her doctor, okay? But if she's able to walk into your Pilates studio and it's just these pregnancy-induced pains, then these are going to be great ways for you to help her alleviate those, okay? First of all, remember that you want to keep the environment positive and uplifting, okay? So you don't want to have a worrisome or sympathetic meaning like, oh, I'm so sorry, demeanor, okay? She's having a pain experience. It really does come along with pregnancy to have these specific pains. The three most common are headache, low back pain, and pelvic pain, okay? So that's what these are going to be about, is helping them relieve this pain, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is breathe. So the reason why breathing is the number one thing you want to teach all your pre and postnatal clients is because that is what's going to move those organs and get that nervous system connected, balanced, so that they can feel those amazing, relieving, stress-relieving feelings, okay? You know, people talk a lot about the vagus nerve, and the reason they talk so much about it and why breathing is so significant to turn that vagus nerve on is because that nerve innervates with 75% of the organs. It connects up in the occipital, in the brain area, and comes down into the heart, the lungs, the diaphragm, the liver, the stomach, the digestive system, and some books even say it extends all the way down even into the uterus. So when your client is breathing, it's going to help give a lot of relaxation feelings to their bodies, okay? Pain is intensified when stress is high, okay? We know that. Study after study shows us that pain intensifies when stress is high. Pain intensifies when muscles are tight, okay? So that's what we're trying to do here, is stabilize and release, okay? Stabilize that pelvis and those loose ligaments, at the same time getting mom to have a stress-free feeling. So lateral thoracic breathing, okay? Sometimes women can have a hard time with this, or it can feel restrictive if they're not taught properly. So a lot of times when we teach lateral thoracic breathing, we're teaching those ribs to expand out, right? So here's one. You just exhale first to begin. Inhale. And mom's expanding that, right? Really important during pregnancy because those organs begin to compress and everything kind of starts to move up this way, and so we want that expansion. We also want to remember that the organs are buoyant, okay? And so we want them to have this buoyant feeling. So if you have your pelvic floor is here and the diaphragm is here, and you want those working together, you want that lateral thoracic breath to be a lateral thoracic pelvic breath. So when you inhale, the diaphragm is dropping down while the ribs are coming out. The diaphragm's dropping down and opening, and that presses on the rest of the organs, which presses down into the pelvic floor. So you have both doing this on the inhale, and then on the exhale, they're moving this way, okay? Deep down into the pelvis, exhale. As they exhale, hugging the belly or the baby if she's pregnant. Okay, so the next exercise is going to be the blooming flower. Okay, the other thing is when mom's sitting, you want to make sure that she's sitting up tall, hugging the belly, closing the ribs, hands behind the head. You're going to inhale, lift the shoulders to the ears. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up. Exhale, drop the arms down, and we're going to look, lifting up tall, feeling those lats connected, okay? Inhale, inhale, exhale. The next version of blooming flower, inhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale, dropping all that. And this action gets those shoulders up and lifts this rib cage up and away so those organs have an opportunity to move, okay? Next is gentle hanging. This is going to be huge for women who deal with hiatal hernias, which can be common during pregnancy. It's basically a hernia that pushes through that diaphragm up in the middle, and I'm going to show you gentle hanging for that. So she can do this on a door frame, but if you have a trapeze table, that's great. Or teach her to do this at a children's playground where they have bars. You're going to gently, you can have the feet slightly apart, gently bending the knees, hugging the baby slightly. And the idea is that she's letting these ribs open here, okay? And it's very, very gentle. She can do a little bit of movement through here. If it hurts at all, if any of this hurts, we stop doing it, okay? Or let up on it, okay? This is all supposed to feel good for mom, okay? She can also do side here. That's gonna help open this up. You can take a breath here, inhale. Really focusing on opening up this rib, but at the same time sending the breath down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, up, okay? So those are just two simple movements you can get mom going with. Now we're going to go through everyday movements that you want to teach mom inside of the studio, okay? That she's going to want to remember when she's outside of the studio. These tips are from Dr. Sinead Dufour, who's a women's health PT, a researcher who's done tons of research on pain and particularly pelvic pain. And these are her recommendations. So we're going to start with the exhale on exertion. Now, if you are if you are contemporary trained, then you will be familiar with and know very well, exhale on the exertion. We exhale when we push. We exhale when we pull, okay? We exhale when we lift. The recommendation for pre and postnatal women and women who are having pain is to exhale on the exertion. So anything they're doing. If they are pushing a grocery cart, she wants to be beginning that initial push with an exhale. If she is about to lift a heavy box, exhaling, okay? The next is the squat. Squatting and then exhaling to come up. So we know that squatting releases in the hips. So I'm just gonna be here so you can see my mechanics, okay? So you want mom to come down into a squat. Okay, I'm just gonna come down here. So this is the position. Now, if she can't get down in a squat by herself, you can add to it. I'm just up here so you can see me, okay? But the edge of a counter is good, okay? Or here is going to be safe. Again, I'm just here so you can see me. So when she comes down, she's directing those hips back, okay? Here's the resting stretch, which is going to loosen up through this sacral area. It loosens up and stretches the pelvic floor. It stretches the glutes. It's stretching through here. As she comes up, she's going to want to exhale. Okay, and to lift something. Hug the baby. Okay. So that's the second recommendation that you want to teach moms, okay? Number 3 is standing. So if she's having pelvic pain particularly, okay, and you can teach this to her, say when she's standing in line at the store, if she's having pain, always hugging the baby or the belly back, okay? That's going to help stabilize and give her some sense of security, number 1, okay? Then we're gonna bend the knees slightly and lean into each heel. So we're contracting through the glute, okay? So that's how you're gonna help her to stabilize, begin to stabilize that sacrum, okay? Even out that sacrum. Okay, so we had exhale on the exertion, we had squatting, and we had standing, teaching her how to stand, okay? If she's having pain, pressing that heel in, okay? Let me show you here, just so you can see the mechanics again. So we're bending the knees, she's pressing into that heel, pressing. So she should be feeling it through here. At the same time, if you want to cue the lats, okay, that's going to help as well because we know those lats, the glutes, pelvic floor, thoracolumbar fascia is all connected to that sacrum, okay? Then we have sitting, okay? So we want mom to, when she sits, she's got about a hip width apart. She's going to lean, hug the baby or belly. Lean the hips back, hands on the hips, make sure she sees where she's sitting. Exhale, okay? Some tips when she's sitting up, like when she's just sitting somewhere. You want to get her to sit either on the edge where she's getting her weight on her legs more, or with a back, if she's got a chair that has a back, leaning into that if she's going to be relaxing, okay? So it depends on the situation. And then to get up, inhale, hands here, hug the baby or the belly, exhale, coming up, okay? Always making sure to prepare by coming to the front here. Okay, so exhale on the exertion, squatting, standing, sitting. Now we're gonna do rolling in bed or on a mat, okay? So let's say she has this pelvic pain and she's going to go lay down, okay? Make sure always, again, hugging the baby or the belly, okay? Shoulders are down as much as she can. Keep this in mind when you're cueing shoulders down for pregnancy. Everything is going up, okay? Everything. So that's why these kind of exercises are so great for mom to really get her a chance to really stretch through here because that uterus is pushing up on everything, including the ribs, including the shoulder blades, all of that, okay? So she's not gonna be able to bring her shoulders down like she might have been able to before. So it's about cueing those lats, not necessarily bringing her shoulders down. So cueing the lats. Here's a good one you can do, just easy. Hug a tree is great for cueing the lats, okay? And you can always use through there. Okay, now, hugging the baby to lay down. Again, come back as far as you can on the bed or this trap table, okay? Sliding, hug the baby, let the legs just fall up, okay? So you don't want her lifting to put them up, okay? They're just gonna fall up easily here, okay? Then she's going to move back like this, okay? And then she's in bed. Now, to get out, she's going to roll back over on the exhale, straightening the leg that she's going to roll onto. This knee, wherever she's rolling to, is going to be what's going to help her roll that way, okay? So arm is out here, inhale, exhale, push off of this foot. Okay, so again, laying down, letting the legs come up. The knees are bent. Rolling back, okay? To roll back up, rolling over, pushing off of this foot, okay? You should be able to feel that glute, okay? Even just having her do this is helpful. Okay, and then push to exhale, bring the knees in, and then let them. Now she's having carpal tunnel issues, okay? She's gonna make a fist and come up this way. Okay? So those are some tips on everyday movement. So you can teach that to her getting out of bed when the pelvis is sore, if she's having consistent pain. Again, if it is chronic pain that's lasted 3 or more months, you want her to see her doctor if she hasn't already. She should have by at this point, right? So now I'm going to teach you some exercises that Dr. Sinead suggests for pelvic alignment, okay? So these are all done laying down. We're gonna go ahead and lay down the way that is safe, hugging the baby. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let her get comfortable. If she's comfortable with the arms here, sometimes women are more comfortable like that, again, because this is just so compressed, okay? We're gonna put the feet together and the knees together, and you're gonna let the knees fall open. Now, in this position, let her kind of squirm to find her position, okay? She shouldn't be arching here, so make sure that she's nice and long, preferably neutral, okay? She's going to take an inhale. As she exhales, she's going to press the outside of the feet into the bed. So the outside of both feet as she exhales. Inhale, exhale. She's going to do that 3 times. Exhale. Then she's going to slowly bring her knees up. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Arms by your side. This next one is a bridge. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider. And we're just going to lift enough that she can feel the glutes and keep her pelvis neutral. Inhale. Exhale. Just enough that she can feel the hamstrings and the glutes. No pain. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. mom is on her back and she's uncomfortable, okay? You're gonna roll over, remember here, okay? You can have her sit up or in a incline, okay? So if you have a ball, let's say, just like this. She can do the same thing here, okay? Pressing and release, pressing and release, pressing and release, okay? Again, wherever her arms are comfortable is the goal here. Then we're gonna slowly bring that up, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. This is just all about getting that support back in the pelvis, okay? And then even here, probably just pressing down into the heels and release. Did you see that? Down into the heels and release, okay? While we're here at the ball, hands behind, you can slowly take the hips back. I'm sorry, the shoulders back. You can slowly take the shoulders back. Slowly take the shoulders back. Hug the baby to come up. Slowly take the shoulders back. Hug the baby. Exhale to come up. Okay? All the way up here, 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 and around. Another one I want to show you is the car, getting in and out of the car. So, when mom is, okay, let's say she's driving in the car here, okay? And let's say she's gonna get out this way, okay? So, first of all, when she's driving, she always wants to be as up as she can, okay, and alert, okay? Hugging the baby helps so much with that, sitting up tall, watching those shoulders, lats are helping her engaged, okay? And just breathing normally. Driving is also a great opportunity to practice that actually lateral thoracic pelvic breath, okay? When she gets out, okay, inhale, exhale, hug one leg here, inhale, exhale, here, okay, inhale, come to the edge, exhale, just like she would sit up out of a car, and then to get back in. Okay, so to reduce or even eliminate pain, patience is going to be key, okay? As you saw, all of these movements take awareness, consciousness of the breath, okay? Another reason why that pelvic breath is so important is because, again, it's going to help reduce the possibility of prolapse or even diastasis if they're belly breathers, because it's going to create this buoyancy. And that pelvic floor, especially during pregnancy and postnatal, up to 4 months postnatal, and if a woman is breastfeeding, it's through breastfeeding, that pelvic floor is going to be a lot more malleable, loose, okay? Those ligaments are gonna be loose. The hormones are causing smooth muscle relaxation, and the pelvic floor is a smooth muscle. So it's going to take a lot of more awareness of mom to be able to really keep that pelvic floor healthy and not overdo it. So you don't want her to exhale, you don't want her to hold her breath instead of exhaling when she's coming up, okay? So this is common, right? And maybe they don't make that sound, but if it's like how many times do we find ourselves doing that? I know I find myself doing that. So being aware of that exhale just becomes a habit. And if she's been doing Pilates with you and you're teaching exhale on the exertion on everything you're doing, then she should be able to get that as well. With pushing, if you get into labor, exhaling on the push is going to be the best way to do it. Anytime you're moving from one place to the next, exhaling to do that. Okay? And the things you want to remember are that, number one, that if the pain is chronic, it's been going on a really long time, make sure they've seen their doctor, okay? Number two, if it starts to hurt, don't do it. Number three, that you want to keep your studio a positive place, okay? So looking at the way that they're talking about their pain as an experience rather than a complaint, okay? Looking at their pelvis as resilient. They have a resilient pelvis rather than dysfunctional or even sensitive. Their bodies are doing an amazing thing. I mean, it's a miracle that our bodies even function. And then the fact that we can even grow a human being that's functioning as well, it's all miraculous. And our bodies want to work for us. They want to do the right thing for us. And if we can remind mom of that our bodies are there to help support us, and if we are having pain, it's just communicating to us that there is something that needs to be changed, that the experience is not desirable, and so we want to change it to a better feeling experience, positive feeling. Again, questions, put them in the comment box. Would love to share any of your ideas around pain or anything that you do. Again, these are just a few things that you can do, several other things that we can do in a longer session. But these are things you can use right away. Thank you so much for your dedication to this special population. You are changing the world one client at a time by helping this population and helping them in a positive, uplifting manner. And I am so grateful for you. I know that your clients are so grateful for you, and keep it up. See you in the next lesson.